to this inaugural Policing Tech Forum webinar series, to which you're very welcome. In this first series, we're going to be examining the future of national contact management. And with very much today, we're going to have a focus on the interoperability side of things. So to begin, I would I've got very much the pleasure of introducing, good morning, Simon Megic, the Deputy Chief Constable for Norfolk, but also the Digital Public Contact Programme Senior Responsible Officer, I think is the full title, isn't it, Simon?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Kevin. And good morning again for those that have probably just joined us. Yeah, Simon Megic from Norfolk.
It's the pleasure of introducing Catherine Akehurst, who is the NPC Digital National Contact Management Lead. And Catherine, welcome. Thank you very much for taking the time to join us this morning.
Hopefully you can hear me. Ironically, running off two laptops, and we're talking about interoperability, and it didn't want to be very interoperable with me today. So apologies for that. And thank you for Simon for starting us off. Yeah.
Perhaps if I could now introduce Cinzia Miato, who is the Programme Manager for Justice and Emergency Services at techUK, who will tell us a bit more about the role of techUK as an association. Cinzia, good morning.
Thank you, Kevin. Good morning, everyone. Just bear with me while I share my slides.
Yeah, thank you very much, Cinzia. Simon, we're going to hand over to you now. Now, I think your long title is Chair of the techUK Justice and Public Safety Interoperability Forum. I think that's the latest title, isn't it, Simon?
It is. It sounds a little bit like the Popular Front of Judea and the People's Popular Front. So it sounds like something off the Life of Brian, but yes, it's the Interoperability in Justice and Public Safety Forum. So that's the new title.
If you consider that probably the 1960s, so from the 50s and before, our contact was quite rudimentary. It was you effectively made contact with your local police officer that would be living in your community, either by knocking on the door or seeing them out in the public space. Now, that radically changed with the advent of the telephone and a telephony system. That said, to be fair, you know, we're I think now over 100 years with a 999 system, so the 999s have always been with us, but we had that transition from, you know, local into your neighbourhoods into the telephony space, and then into digital. And I think we're moving now from predominantly or solely telephony into the digital space. And I think
we come from a lot of different places within contact, and as people will be aware, our forces, say 43 plus forces, all working separately, all have their own budgets, all have their own processes, and we do need to be obviously mindful of being responsive to the local communities. But with that, I think developed over time, forces have naturally looked at ways they can improve, or ways that they've worked with their business partners and tech companies and through their contracts, which has provided something that's been effective for individual forces. But actually now, with the demand continuing to increase, and I think the complexity of demand and the complexity of things that police need to be considering and dealing with and working with partners with, that's now sort of stretched policing. So actually it's quite a difficult position in terms of how we manage contact. And I think Simon mentioned my role as the National Police Chiefs Council Lead for Contact Management is making sure that we deliver on the national strategy, working with Simon and his team around digital public contact. So recognising that contact, particularly for emergency calls, is still going to be very much likely to continue to be voice calls. There are lots of other ways we can support citizens, and we can provide a better service through using some of the tech that Simon's teams are working on as well.
I think it would be great if procurement was a little bit more transparent in the way that it's actually looked to procure things. But if it was done in the right way, then I think you would actually achieve a much more rapid, scalable system, which is actually would be cheaper. But I think what you need to do is actually, I think if you look through the recommendations or the guidance we put together for procurement, is trying to get them to understand that they're buying systems which can actually talk to each other.
I think we have to become a more intelligent client, and I mean an intelligent client across the entire service, and that is also using the power of the service to get good value, but also to ensure that as we build, that we don't build in an atomized way.
So I chair something called the National Contact Management Steering Group. And so I meet quarterly, and I've just recently set up a regional network, and Martine, who's actually in GMP, is the regional representative for the Northwest. So that enables me to link in with my regional representatives and local forces. What I then do is I meet, in fact, at the moment, weekly with colleagues who work for Simon in the digital public contact space. So they support me with work I'm doing around things like 101 and telephony work and triage, but also I can have those conversations with them just to touch base around what's happening.
For me, it's all about applying the what's in it for me approach. For good tech is intuitive, it's easy, it makes life easier. So there's something around, and we've done this with Single Online Home, around this kind of soft launching and getting people to understand that it makes their lives easier. There is a lot that we expect about, whether it's call handlers, whether it's members of staff, whether it's our officers. The public expect us to do a great deal, bluntly, expect us to work hard and give them a great service. But we as senior leaders need to give them tech that makes sense to them. And I think the sooner we kind of head towards convergent points, and it allows the tech organisations, and for us, as I said earlier, for us to go out into the marketplace and be quite muscular and say, this is what we want. We know it's out there. We want it at this particular price point, and we want it across all of us. That's hard because it means that each chief gives up a degree of sovereignty. We have to deliver at certain rates. And we know historically what's our history around delivering national product? Not very good. That's why, again, Single Online Home's different in that respect. Never been nationally mandated. We've sold the benefits. Each time we've gone to another force and sold the benefit. What we can offer is better than what you've got at a good price, and it's going to give you better services if you change your processes. I think we need to be continually thinking about how we do that intelligently, working with trusted suppliers in the tech industry that are not going to have us over, not just going to take a quick profit and disappear, going to share the risk and help us grow, because there's no way that the service can evolve into the service that the public need us to be without good and strong relationships with tech companies.
Simon, thank you. And I'd say this really sort of brings us to the end of the webinar. Can I just take the opportunity to thank you all for your participation? I'm sure there's a lot there for people to take away. It is only the first one in the series, so the next one. In the meantime, can I thank you all for your participation? Thank you for those that have sent in questions, and have a good rest of your day. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.